Hey everybody, movie review here, just cover my next movie review. So with that said, screw you, Brett Ratner. So as you can tell by that clip, there is quite a few battles in this film. Most of them are in the past, but the big two I showed you part of one there are in the future. So this is of course my review of the newest X-Men film, X-Men 7 if you count it, X-Men Days of Future Past. Now this is, I've not really known much about X-Men comics when I was reading comics. I knew a little bit about A versus X, which is Avengers versus X-Men, but I never read Days of Future Past, so this is really interesting for me as well. So in this, it takes place a few years after the events of the Wolverine, and quite a few years after The Last Stand. This takes place with the majority of the world's mutants are dead, and the only ones left out of the leaders from the first three are Wolverine, Storm, Professor X, and Magneto. Magneto has been forced to cooperate with the other three to survive. And then it starts off, like I showed you, with a second group of X-Men, which are Bishop, Blink, Iceman, Colossus, Warpath, Shadowcat, if you want to kill Kitty Pryde, or Sunspot. Those are the X-Men at the start that I showed you, most of them anyway. Also Rogue, I think made a bit of an appearance in this, but that's right at the start, and I think he dies straight away. So, the story is that Wolverine has to be sent back in time to save the mutant race, and convince Mystique to not kill, what's it called, Trask, that's his name, played by Peter Dinklage, who, to stop her from killing him, so he will create the Sentinels. So what I liked about this movie, I like the idea that JFK was a mutant, and the fact that the bullet bounced when it was trying to hit him was Magneto trying to save him. Another thing I like is, finally, after the god-awful thing of X-Men The Last Stand, the Sentinels have finally been done right. You can see by that clip, they look great in this film. There is no doubt about that, they do look great. And the final thing that I like about this movie is best end credits scene ever. It builds up to X-Men Apocalypse perfectly. I was not expecting anything that good. So my ticket is already sold for Apocalypse. When it comes around, you'll probably get a review from it. So let's get into the stuff that I didn't like about this. This first one is a bit of a nitpick, but at the end of the Wolverine, the last one from 2013, he loses his adamantium claws. Sorry for spoiling that. So somehow in this movie, in the future anyway, he gets them back. I'm not sure how that works. Did Magneto like bring them back into them, or I'm not sure. Uh, another few things that I like is, this is about the comics. What I do know about it, Quicksilver, is he was banned this film, but here's a few things I didn't like. How come Quicksilver's not Magneto's kid in this? They also got his name wrong. It's not Peter, it's Pietru. And finally, where's his sister, the fourth most powerful mutant in the X-Men universe, Scarlet Witch? I'm a little confused about that. There is no Stan Lee cameo in this Marvel film, which sucks. Another thing I didn't like is, I was waiting for this entire movie for them to say the reference to Wolverine in the first cast, which is fucking awesome. Which is, I think Professor X says, "Excuse me, I'm Eric Venture," and this is Charles Xavier, and finally Wolverine says, "Go fuck yourself." So when they did get around to saying it, it wasn't as good as I was hoping for, unfortunately. And then here's the final thing that I like. Actually, there's two things I didn't like. Let's have a kill count here, just to see who died. So, you got Rogue, I think. Magneto was dying, but he wasn't dead, so I'm counting him anyway. Storm, Bishop, Blink, Iceman, Colossus, Warpath, Shadowcat, / Kitty Pryde, I think, and Sunspot. So that's 10 mutants dead. I would have been fine with most of these, since Nightcrawler was my favourite and he got raised out of it anyway. Although I do think Blink did a good job. I'd be fine with most of these deaths if they actually died. Magneto might have died, but I'm not sure, they never actually explained that. So I'd be fine with most of these deaths if they actually died. Like, this isn't like Cyclops or Jean Grey. Speaking of them, actually, like they came back. I did not realize actually how much we missed these characters. It's just like, oh, they're gone, they're dead. Last time we saw them was in The Last Stand. So I didn't really realize how much we missed these characters. It was only not very long ago before watching Days of Future Past, before I watched The Last Stand. I wasn't realizing how much I missed these characters, so I did feel like a little bit different when they actually came onto the screen. That's a nice feeling. And finally, I didn't like is when the movie ended and the end credits scene happened. I waited till the end and there was nothing else. And in my mind, I went, no, 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 no. I need to find out if what they did in Origins or what they did to Deadpool not ever happened. They never explained that. I need to know that never happened. Okay. You see why I don't like that, because Deadpool is batshit crazy and this guy cannot talk. You can see my problem. So I give this movie an 8.3 out of 10. It's probably my favourite X-Men movie, I'd say. Without the few things that they did, actually quite a few things that they did wrong. So, have you seen X-Men Days of Future Past? What do you think? What's your favourite X-Men movie? And let me know, as always, what you'd like to see me review next. So, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.